Good morning. We look today at Psalms 137, 138, and 139. And Psalm 137, again, is one of those psalms that, is looking for revenge or, for vengeance upon the enemies. And, it starts out with remorse, with sorrow. By the rivers of Babylon we sat and we wept when we remembered Zion. So they've been conquered. The people of Israel are no longer free people and for there our captors asked for songs and our tormentors asked for mirth, saying, sing some songs of Zion, and, it's just, the kind of that mocking tone. And so the people are, they're feeling remorse. They're sad because, they're no longer a free people. And then the question, how can we sing the Lord's song in a foreign land? And the reality is that we should sing the Lord's song any place and every place we are, and that's how the Lord's song gets shared. But at this time in history, when the Psalms were written, the Israelites were still God's chosen people, and they were not in their homeland, and they were feeling lost, and how can we find hope? They were in despair, and we've all been there. It's time. There are times when it's really hard to have hope and to look on the bright side of things, and that's where the Israelites were at this point in time. It says, "Let my tongue cling to the roof of my mouth," and that you can't talk. You can't. It's just button my mouth, and stuff, and then the verses. 7 through 9, the ending one, it's, this is the vengeance or the revenge. Remember against the Edomites, the day of Jerusalem, how they said, tear it down. And then, happy are they who will take your little ones and dash them on the rocks. It's going to, boy, the one that conquers these bad people, they're going to be the good ones, looking for the hero. But, it's, they're looking for revenge on these people that have destroyed Jerusalem and taken their freedom away, and it's hard. It's hard when we don't have everything we want, or the things don't go the way we'd like them to go, and it's easy to get discouraged. And but it's that verse, how can we sing of the Lord's song in a foreign land? To me, that's a reminder that even when things aren't going as we would like them to, we still have the Lord. He's always our Lord. He's always there for us. Psalm 138 starts a whole different, I give thanks to you, O Lord. With my whole heart, before the gods I praise you. So, and this is the thing, this is kind of the way our emotions go sometimes too. We can be high, we can be low, we can, and then we find this middle platform again, but we bounce back and forth, just like the Psalms do. You're crying for vengeance, and then you're singing of God's glory, so you're giving him praise. On the day I called, you answered me, you increased my strength, as verse 3, the psalmist, the prayers have been answered, the fulfillment is there, and they see God in their midst. I don't know exactly what the circumstances were here, but, then it's all the kings of the earth will praise you, and then verse 6, I like verse 6, though the Lord is high, he regards the lowly, but the haughty he perceives from far away. Even though the Lord is high and mighty, the Lord is all powerful. He says he knows the lowly. He regards the lowly. He has, and this is the good thing for us. That God in his infinite wisdom looked at humanity as a whole and saw that we are a sinful lot and had regard for us and sent his son Jesus. And in verse 7, though I walk in the midst of trouble, you preserve me against the wrath of my enemies. You stretch out your right hand and deliver me. And it's just, so again, this is you go from Psalm 137, asking for vengeance, and, you're feeling down and out, and did God forget us? And then, the next Psalm, boom, here we are filled with thanks and praise. Psalm 139, again, they have trouble with freedom, and looking for somebody to help again. But it starts out, oh Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit, you know my thoughts, you search out my path. I mean, God knows who we are. He knows our strengths, he knows our weaknesses, he knows our every breath. You could just as well say, because that's, the first several verses. I mean, it's just counting the things about us that God knows. Even before a word is on my tongue, you hem me in, such knowledge, and then verse 7, where can I hide from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? We can't hide from God. It's just like Adam and Eve, they ate the fruit and then they hear God coming and walking in the garden and they hide from him. But God knows where they are. We can't hide from God. We can't hide our sin from God. We can't, we can sometimes fool some of other people, and we can and hide things that we do or cover them up. But most of the time, those things get discovered too. But we can't hide anything from God. God knows us, as the first few verses of this psalm said, God knows us intimately. He knows everything about us. So how can we hide from God? Where can we go to hide from God? It says, if I go to heaven, you're there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you're there, you are. It doesn't matter. God knows who we are and where we are. And, it's verse 11, if I say darkness will cover me, the light around me becomes night, and the darkness is not dark to you. I mean, that's in the, in a really, really dark night. I mean, it's so pitch black you can't even see. And I remember being down in a deep cave, and it had everybody stand still, and they turned the lights off, and they told the kids, if you got shoes on that light, make lights when you move, don't move your feet. And that utter blackness. I mean, you could hold your hand like that, and you couldn't tell it was there. I mean, that's, the darkness was absolutely complete. But yet, God knew right where we were. And we can't hide from God. And then starting on verse 13, it goes on that, you who formed my inward parts, you knit me together in my mother's womb. God knows us, as I said earlier, intimately. He knows everything about us. He made us, he knows us, he's seen us, he's watched us grow, and he's hopefully nurtured us through our parents and through our community, to who we are. And then in verse 4, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. God doesn't make junk. I mean, we may look at ourselves and say, well, I wish I was this, I wish I was this, but the reality is that no matter who we are, no matter what we look like, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Think about how our bodies work. I mean, with my eye, I can't see you. You can see my picture on this phone, but we breathe, and and our heart beats, and the blood pumps through our system. And I mean, I don't have to think about, okay, heartbeat, pump, pump, and if I had to do that, if I had to think about every breath, if I had to think about every heartbeat, I wouldn't be able to do anything else. But God has made us so intricately, so fabulously that, I mean, our bodies function. We take a drink or we eat some food, and our systems divide. They turn it into nutrients that our body can use and sustain us that way. I mean, it's just amazing when you think about how we're made. No matter if we're happy with what we look like or not. I mean, we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and we are made by God. And in verse 17, how weighty to me are your thoughts, O God. And when we think about God and God's love for us, I mean, it's beyond comprehension. It really truly is for me to understand, to figure out why it is that God would give so much of himself for people like the Israelites. Yeah, not me. No, I'm just like them. But God, his compassion is just there's no end to it. And, when we think about what God has done for us and all of that, it's just amazing. And the last verse 18, he's kind of trying to count them, the thoughts that God has, and they're more than the sand. I come to the end. I am still with you. And you know, I'm still in God's presence. You know, we can't separate us from God that way. And then we kind of go to, oh, that you would kill the wicked, that the bloodthirsty would depart. And, you know, but then it comes into, you know, do you not know that I hate those who hate you? Your enemies are my enemies. You know, I'm going to work as best I can with God, for God, to destroy these enemies, to defeat Satan, to speak truth and to speak love and to speak well of things. And then the last two verses I have underlined in my Bible, search me and know my heart, test me and know my knowledge, see if there is any wicked way within me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. Search me, O God. Try me, O God. Help me find those things within me that need to change. Preserve me. God knows who we are. Thanks be to God.